Dave had been struggling with severe health anxiety for a few years. He wrote to me explaining how his health worries were consuming his life. Dave found himself in a doctor's office, a hospital, and urgent care multiple times a week, and he spent most of his waking day compulsively researching his latest symptom and monitored his own vitals with various devices. Yet he still struggled with the idea that he was suffering from a mental condition versus a medical problem, regardless of the fact that his area of concern kind of rotated around his body and he was physically healthy. He'd been examined and scanned and imaged more than anybody I had never known. Now, his medical tests were always normal, but Dave could not unhook from his health-focused obsession, and none of Dave's medical providers had ever suggested that this could be health anxiety related or OCD. Now, Dave and I worked together to slow down his thinking and behaviors so that he could become more aware of the big red flags of health anxiety. I'm going to share 4 big red flags of health anxiety so that you can catch your red flags as well and learn to change your response. Now, the first big red flag is that when Dave noticed a sensation or an ache or a pain in his body, he would experience doubt. But the doubt would present itself in the form of what-if questions. And then almost spontaneously, the second big red flag would appear. And I refer to the second red flag as making a misinterpretation. Dave would misinterpret the sensation or symptom as dangerous. Now, people with health anxiety and OCD score high on a trait called anxiety sensitivity. And this means that they tend to misinterpret anxiety sensations in their body as threatening and dangerous. Now, the third big red flag is what I refer to as taking the giant leap. It happens so fast you can miss it and not recognize that it's something you're doing mentally. In Dave's case, he would take a giant leap from noticing a bodily sensation, interpreting it as dangerous, and then he would imagine and attach a scary story to it. And it wouldn't just be any scary story, it would be the worst possible story. For example, if he noticed a pain in his leg, he would imagine having a blood clot. If he had a stomach ache, he was thinking stomach cancer. If he had a headache, it was brain cancer. If he had a palpitation or a skip beat, it was a precursor to a major cardiac event. By imagining the worst case scenario, Dave would unintentionally activate his fight or flight, his fear response. And this would create more hypervigilance, focusing on feeling and internally monitoring that sensation. And now his brain and nervous system were queued up and zeroed in like a sniper, waiting for a threat. So he was driven at that point, motivated by survival instincts to get help, because he truly believed his life was dependent on it. And this is red flag number 4. He would experience strong urges to gain reassurance that he was safe, and he would begin compulsively Googling, monitoring, doctor visits, and a multitude of other safety and avoidance behaviors would begin. What's ironic is that as much as Dave wanted to feel safe and healthy, he stopped doing all of the behaviors that actually were good for his health. He stopped exercising, keeping a healthy sleep schedule, socializing, eating nutritious meals. When I started working with Dave, the focus of his health anxiety were his headaches. Now, the headache pain was real and it had persisted for weeks. His doctor, after multiple visits, recommended an MRI. The MRI was actually a major breakthrough for Dave. Dave walked into the hospital on his appointment day, and the MRI tech asked where the headache was. Where on his head did he feel the headache? And to Dave's amazement, the headache was gone. It had vanished. He laughed, telling me the story that his headache had been there for weeks. He even noticed it in the parking lot when he parked his car at the hospital. But now, suddenly, no headache. This was a big aha moment for Dave. He was catching on to health anxiety tricks. His brain believed that he was in true danger, and his mission had been to get that MRI. Dave shared that he now noticed a pattern with his other ailments as well. the symptoms would persist until he secured the highest level of testing for reassurance that he was okay. And once he had that reassurance, then that symptom would stop for then. But the health anxiety is a cycle, and it likes playing whack-a-mole on your body. And guess what? The next day, Dave woke up, he noticed bug bites on his ankles. Now, we both laughed, with that one. Health anxiety was trying to grab him again, but he wasn't falling for it. He was not going to start Googling bug bites and add a horror story to the bug bites. Dave is still in the recovery process, and it's especially challenging for him to give up compulsive Googling. And he's working on expanding his life again by meeting up with friends and family and getting back in shape, and he's doing activities that he's avoided for years. I change people's names when I share their stories, and of course I always ask for their permission. But I want to thank Dave for allowing me to share his story with the hope that it will help others suffering from health anxiety. Slowing down your thinking and catching these red flags will help you identify and then change your response to health anxiety. Like Reed Wilson likes to say, we all have these noisy bodies, meaning that we sense and feel uncomfortable things in our body. But being uncomfortable is very different than being in danger. If you need help recovering from health anxiety, I have an effective online course, a wonderful support group, and other therapy resources available for you at paigebradco.com. Until next time, I'll see you in session. Take care. Bye-bye.